We have Attorney Joseph Noel Estrada, Legal Counsel of the Coordinating Council of Private Educational Association or COCOPEA, joining us now live via Zoom. Good morning, Attorney, and thanks for joining us again.
Hello, good morning to everyone and to all your viewers and followers. Magandang umaga po sa inyo.
Attorney, patulad ng sinabi ng report, no, this was a one-week standstill mostly in Luzon and other areas, no? So how do you think this affects in general yung education na binibigay sa atin mga kabataan?
Well, that has always been the problem, no? Mga suspensions, class suspensions, and actually ang isang problem dyan is who gets to decide, no, when it's not when it's discretionary.
Yes.
Ano natin kasi yung madali yung decision when to suspend, but what happens after yung mga makeup classes, what do you do with lost class days, among other things, how do you catch up? Yun ang it's the real problem, and yun hindi na yun the mayor will not decide on that, no? Exactly. So that's why the clamor has been dapat at the school level ang pagdesisyon dahil hindi naman yan natatapos sa pagsuspindi lang ng klase.
Exactly.
Attorney, sorry, just to add to that, no, kasi other countries have instituted yung automatic reaction systems na, for example, pag nag-suspend because of a calamity, there's an automatic kit that they open up and take home and finish to ensure na continues ang learning nila. Don't we have that now, at least with the private schools na, di ba? May bagyo ngayon, no school, ito, I should finish this module.
Well, may mga ganong preparations at the school level. No? Problem is, may mga local governments, for example, when they suspend classes, sasabihin nila, suspended yung in-person, including online and asynchronous. Yeah. So, bali, wala rin yung preparation in school.
Well, actually, Attorney, natatawa pa rin ako. Actually, it baffles me until now. It's already 2025. Bata pa lang ako pinag-uusapan na sino ba yung magde-decide dapat.
Suspension.
Kung sino yung magsususpend ng klase kapag may mga typhoon tayong nararanasan sa ating bansa. But other than that, in your organization, ano po ba yung plan natin on makeup classes? Kasi right now, may mga debate pa rin pagdating po doon sa kung pwede daw i-extend na lang muna ng oras ng weekday kesa mag-weekends. Kasi ma-interrupt naman din daw yung work-life balance.
Sa mga private schools kasi more or less they have more flexibility sa amin. Kaya pa yan ma-catch up. And we submit our school calendar, diba, to the Department of Education. Meron kaming minimum number of class days that we have to observe. Tapos may may buffer yung mga non-class days. So magagamit pa yan.
Pwede pa.
I think yung basta wag na lang sana ganito ulit kahaba na maraming suspensions, and again like we said, sana more autonomy and discretion at the level of the schools. Kasi you mentioned earlier, bata pa tayo, problema na yung suspension. Ang kaibahan kasi ngayon, dati maliwanag pag bagyo, walang pasok talaga. Ngayon walang bagyo pero may flooding, ang daming issues. Minsan naisip ko nga, tayo na rin may gawa niyan.
But do you agree that DILG should declare yung class suspension? Kasi recently, ang DILG ang nagsuspend pero ang daming mga criticisms behind that. Do you agree with that?
Well, kasi yung context na yun, yung pinagtatalunan, yung local government unit by or yung DILG, I think ang pinagtatalunan doon yung context is talagang meron ng basis to suspend classes . Like I said, hindi doon ang problema. Ang problema yung kung discretionary . Yung alam mong walang baha pero malakas ang ulan. Iyon ba automatic? Is it the mayor that should say walang pasok for all schools? Or we let the schools decide? Kasi po, merong DepEd Order 37 series of 2022 that says the private schools have the option to follow what the DepEd does in terms of public schools. Pero it is the same DO that is cited by local government. Pero sa kanila, automatic all public and private. So nakakakalito. Ano ba talaga susunod? Is it optional or is it do they exercise that option?
Isa pang confusing kasi, Attorney, na we all know in Metro Manila madaming cities dyan, but let's face it, dikit-dikit ang cities. So yung geography, we tend to share the same problems kahit ibang city. Anong nangyayari, for example, Quezon City ako, estudyante ako, but I go and study in Manila. Ngayon, Manila will declare na may pasok dahil wala namang ulan doon. Pero where I live, it's baha. So parang suspension sa QC pero Manila hindi, 'di ba? Parang that's an issue na we have to define now. What about a student from another city? Marked as absent ba yan? It's still an issue we're studying. How do we go about this?
Right. Tama po yung observation ninyo kasi Metro Manila is just one, di ba? Is actually one area.
Correct,
Hindi mo na
that's
pwede
right.
yung city as a different situation in other cities within NCR. So, tama yun. Dapat meron na lang isang nagsasabi. But at the same time, again, looking at each private school, no, to decide based on their own situation. Kasi I don't think naman there's a monopoly of good intentions.
Yeah.
Right.
School ba?
I
Ipapahamak ba nila? I don't think so. Actually, mas they have liabilities under the law, no, compared to a public school. You cannot sue a public school for negligence, but you can on a private school. So with more reason that we have to be careful. But what we're saying is the decision is academic. We should decide not only in suspending it today, but what we do after, or what have we done so far. So those decisions come into play.
Yeah.
And these things naman are not, of course, the mayor will not have knowledge of that or information of that at the school level. Okay. Another thing is the pay rules. No, of course, when you suspend classes, what do you do now with your teachers, with your school personnel? So that's another point of decision that schools have to make.
All right, Attorney, I want to go to the 10-year roadmap, no, na recently nilaunch ng Department of Education, saying that this will be done by investing in 3 major engines such as the centralization of policies, stronger public and private partnerships, and digitalization. Your reaction on that?
First of all, talagang si Secretary Angara, yes, really a good grasp of what's happening on the ground. No? I think this is born out of many consultations that he has done at the start of his tenure administration in Department of Education. Talagang nakikipag-usap siya at the level of the school leaders, public or private. So it's not something new to us. And we welcome this, of course, no? Yung kanyang, meron pa siyang 5 points, meron pa 3 priorities, no?
Yeah.
Decentralization, digitalization, and governance. And then sa level ng learners, teachers. So lahat yun, these are, it's not something new to us, no? And it's consistent to what he has been doing so far. But of course, ang talagang real naman problems or any real challenge in something like this is a 10-year development plan. Medyo yung 10 years na yun. So, ang challenge has always been how do we also insulate it from other leaders, whether it's in the legislature or in the executive, against shifting of passions. So, ibig sabihin, ngayon, ito yung nakikita natin, but ang tagal ng 10-year implementation.
Pero sa inyo, Attorney, sa inyong organization, ano yung perspective niyo? Ano yung dapat unahin natin ngayon with all of the things that are happening na alam natin kaliwat kanan ng problema ng education sector. Pero ano dapat yung unahin natin that would really address the core problems?
Kung pag-uusapan natin na specific to private sector, governance, of course, is number 1 sa amin. Kasi, like, I don't know if many really appreciate that DepEd has a twofold function. One is operating its own schools, meaning with 47,000 branches nationwide. But the other thing is they also set standards. They govern all public and private schools. Dun sa second function, affected ang private schools. So, I think dun din nagkakaroon ng certain problems in terms of implementation. Kasi nagkakaroon ng confusion on personalities. Like officials in DepEd, the region or division level, they have to operate their own schools. They have to manage their own schools. So at the same time, supervise or regulate to a certain degree yung ating mga private schools. So, number 1 sa amin, without going to details, governance. That's number 1, I think, for us. Governance of our private schools. Second, almost very close in terms of priority, is the public and private partnership. Kasi marami talaga mga mission schools na private, they need government help in order to sustain their operations.
Do you think, Attorney, itong the way private and public schools are handled leads to also a huge gap in terms of education quality between public and private schools?
Yes, definitely. Kasi ang mandato nga ng ating constitution, dapat they complement each other, not to compete in terms of government resources, not to compete in terms of enrollment. but they should complement each other to form one Philippine education system. And again, we have yet to fully realize that complementarity principle mandated by the Constitution. And si Secretary Angara is really pushing for that. Talagang and we're very happy with in every issuance and mga declaration ng DepEd, lagi niyang nababanggit yung role ng private schools. Again, we're very happy with that, but again, ang challenge really is really on the implementation on the ground.
Alright, definitely mahaba-haba pang usapin ang dapat i-discuss natin pagdating sa education sector. But for the meantime, wala na po kaming oras. Maraming salamat po sa inyo, Attorney Joseph Noel Estrada of COCOPEA.
Maraming salamat din po sa inyo.